Ta-da! Welcome to the Northwest Iowa Public Safety Training Center. Today and this afternoon, what I'd like to do is share a little bit of a walkthrough. Everybody sort of knows that we're on the east side of town now all of a sudden. What the heck's going on out there, right? As we look, we have 3 stories worth of towers. Why 3 stories? In our area, we have a lot of ranch homes. We have a lot of ranch homes with an attached car garage. We have a lot of 2 stories, and we have Victorians. So the firefighters in the 7 fire departments in Clay County all have an opportunity to come here and practice. And they can practice on something that they are going to be faced with. This isn't a rocket ship. We don't have a lot of rocket ships landing in Clay County, but we do have quite a few homes. So why not practice on something that we have? This is giving the people or the fire departments the opportunity to go ahead and hone their skills, to have even greater confidence, to understand how to, build future leaders for their fire departments as well. And that makes a really big difference in noticing it. So from here, what we're going to do is, so we can also, if we pan over to the other side, we also have a grain bin, and for grain bin and farm rescue. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a few moments. Following that, panning over a little bit more, you're going to see that we have 2 roof props. Our roof props are based on a 6/12 pitch and a 4/12 pitch. None of us are, or quite a few of us, are not super comfortable being on a roof, but why not let's build skills? This whole idea of this training center is to build confidence for everyone, from the firefighter that's here for 1 month to the firefighter that's been here for 40 years. We need to continue to build and bolster that confidence. So as we come on in, we're going to start walking in. There's many different doors and doorways and stairways within this structure that we're going to be walking through. We have a couple of different areas to where we can set true live fires, so the firefighters can truly experience that heat as well as those smoke conditions, and then prepare and train accordingly. So as we sort of walk in, geographically, this is the first floor. This is going to be your ranch style home. Not everyone's ranch home is the same, or we hope they're not all the same, right? So it's like every time I walk into somebody's front door, do I always have to go to the right or do I always have to go to the left? A firefighter doesn't know that. A firefighter knows that he has to go into that building. So why not train him how to best react by doing good training techniques, as far as if I need to search to the right, I can continue to do that and I can simulate that. Or if I have to go to the left, I can also do that. So there's not just one way of doing anything. And we know that as well. There's never just one way of doing something. So as we walk in, we can come in, and it's going to seem like a little bit of a breezeway. I hope that you can see this a little bit. So one of our first burn rooms is right over here. Now the neat part about this is that we use Class A combustibles. And this is where the firefighters are going to face some real heat. Now another thing that happens is that we have thermostats within this structure that let me know how hot it is on the floor and how hot it's rising on the ceiling as well. By providing qualitative and quantitative data, it's letting us know how this structure is going to last longer as well. And it's providing good maintenance, but it's doing replication simulations for all fire departments, that they're getting the same kick at the cat, if you will. So this is one thing that we would do. Coming over this way a little bit, still we've only been in the front door. So just imagine this is your front door, and all of a sudden you have like a living room fire or something like that. Or how about, let's think about it that we're in a basement and we started on the 2nd floor and we have to come down to the basement. Here's your basement, and here's a basement window. How do I get out of this basement window? And I will tell you, if you've ever been trapped in a basement fire, it's not very pleasurable, and we want to make sure that we can train something like that. Another thing that we have is we have a standpipe system that runs to the length of the building, so we can start talking about that. And where do we see standpipes? Naturally at hospitals, nursing homes, assisted living, as well as in the motel districts. So that gives the firefighters another opportunity. As we come in to the next portion, we also have simulated walls. We have these walls and a tracking system that we can change the structure. Come on in this way a little bit more, and it'll even make more sense. So as we come down here, and we come around, you can see how the tracking system is that we can change and we can put and build walls accordingly. And that's what we want to do. We want to change how it is, and we want to be able to compartmentalize. Just imagine going down that long hallway and corridor. Firefighting is a team sport. It is a lot of effort to try and save somebody. So how do we do this tug of war with hose? How do we get hose up to the second floor, up to the third floor? How do we manage these corners? Things like that. Coming into this next structure, this is still the same structure. Now this is our attached garage. Currently, our attached garage is also serving as a little bit of our storage area. We're working on scoring more storage as we speak, but this is just one more thing to think about. So just imagine, here's your attached car garage on your single-story ranch. Do I go ahead if I have a fire with if my automobile started my garage on fire? Do I fight the fire from here, or do I come through the house or not? What is the opportunity? The opportunity isn't limitless. It's based upon the next unit that's coming in. How are they going to attack this fire based on doing that? If we come outside real fast a little bit and watch your step just a second, you can notice with the help of Black Hills Energy, with the help of SMU, we've simulated having gas meters as well as electric meters out there that the firefighters need to pull. There's such a thing when firefighters come on scene, we do a 360 walk around. A 360 walk around is giving a panoramic vision of where the problem could be and how best to make entry into a home. And that really lends itself. And knowing where the utilities are is really great. So having SMU on board and Black Hills Energy on board with us, helping us, has been just tremendous throughout this area. All right, let's go on upstairs a little bit. We're going to keep on going. Because we do have that second story. Just imagine being your friend and helping to move the couch a little bit. So now we got to move the couch upstairs. So as we go upstairs, and you can see it'll become a little bit darker and it becomes a little bit more disorienting. So we want to go ahead and make sure that we can teach our firefighters, what are things that we'd like to do? How do you ascend a flight of stairs? How do you descend a flight of stairs? This could equally be going into your basement. And imagine that. So we're going to keep on coming around. And another fine part about this is that we can turn around. So here we are. So here's our second story entrance. Pardon the wind. Believe it or not, I'm a big man and this wind can push me around. So if we pan on either side, we can compartmentalize these floors to simulate different bedrooms, to simulate, different, areas of anybody's home. So there's nothing, it is not just a rectangle that's wide open. It's a rectangle that can form into many different areas. If you look up here where these 2x4s are, this is going to be a ceiling. So if we needed to use a pipe pole or a tool that's going to be able to reach and breach walls and breach ceilings to allow the smoke and gases to get out, this is how we can simulate that right there. And we're going to keep on coming around. So here's where we have the second floor. Oh my gosh, we have a victim. What do? How do I get that victim out? If you've ever been at a fire that does have somebody that hasn't made it out, how do you remove them? How do you get them out? Every one of our windows in this training tower have enough armament that we can throw ladders. Throwing a ladder, I have an interior crew and I have an exterior crew working based upon manpower. And how can we get that out? So just being able to ladder a building is really something. These walls right here open up as well. So that's another feature that we can go ahead and we can open and close. And so something else that gives us the firemen the opportunity is, firemen, we all love hitting things and breaking stuff. So we can breach this wall. We've talked with Denison Drywall, and they've been a really nice partner with us for donating some extra drywall to us. And it's really nice. And if I haven't sent somebody's name, trust me, this is a community-oriented structure. There are so many people that have reached out to help. And if I haven't said thank you enough, I will say thank you 100 more times yet to come. The heat team, as well as, so the special heat team, the police and sheriffs and all that, they were doing tactical operations here with the first floor, second floor, and third floor. And they found it very beneficial, and they're definitely partnering with us in the future. Having Chief Warburton as well as Sheriff Repelling both on board with this, they both really much support this. That's really neat. So now all of a sudden we're going up here to the 3rd floor. So as we come to the 3rd floor, just imagine, so here's my Victorian. Here's our Victorian home. In our Victorian home, what do we find naturally upstairs? Could it be grandmother's sewing room? Could it be a teenager's escape? Or could this be a playroom for the grandchildren? How do we get up here? If this is all smoke filled, how do we get up here? How can I do a search in this area? These are all really important things. This is what you're going to see. Coming in right here is a space. We call this sort of like a garage roof space, but how many people have those dormers and those little areas for growth right by their own homes or above their garage? That's a little apartment, or it's a great toy stash. You know, we can do something like that. Now we're going to come a little bit further. This is going to be a big one. Now we're going to have some real wind. So now we're to the top. Now we can truly give a great span of what's going on, and you have a nice vision. You know, I have to thank Kirby Schmidt very much, the first planning director I worked with on this project. You know, he had a vision, and then SMU and the city and everybody else continued it. So I can't thank them enough. But as we look, you can see the future expansion for a training classroom as well as community center, you know, to provide, you know, many more things and many more spaces for social organizations as well. As we come around right here, we can simulate a 3-story drop for confined space rescue. Now, if it looks like an empty pit, that's exactly what we're doing. We're going straight down there. But if you've ever, for all the organizations and all the outfits that deal with confined space, they totally understand what's going on here. Something that'll happen with confined space is if you have to go after somebody, what are the things that you want to, you know, risk? All right? I will risk a lot to save a lot. And that's what we have to worry about. We have to understand, is there a lockout, tagout process that we can definitely take in? We have to stop energy from happening so the rescuer doesn't become a victim. Things like that. There's also a lockout, tagout. We talked about that. There's also how do we remove somebody. So as they're going to travel down to wherever this person is, they need to package them up. And then together, they need to make it up, you know, back up and out. And that's going to take support. So it's not just the entrant that's going in, but it's the person that's controlling the entrant. It's the person that's controlling the operation. So this is just one more thing that they get to do when they're out here. As we walk around a little bit more, we have a 612 pitch right here. So again, do you want to learn right up here on 3 stories, or would you like to learn on 5 feet? So we always say the words crawl, walk, run when we train. So let's get confident. Let's learn some good techniques down there, and we can bring them up here and apply them up here as well. And that's going to make a bigger difference. And we're definitely going to go to the grain bin in a moment. So as we walk around a little bit more, not only is this such a great view, but now just imagine, all right, what about rappelling and rope work? What are we going to do there? So by going ahead and using this as one of our major anchor points, we can go ahead and do tensionless hitches, and we can go ahead and rappel 4 stories. And we can, I was going to use the word drop, but you don't really want to say drop when you're on a rope. We'd rather say we will rappel down. Where is that going to come into play? And that's going to come into play with rope rescue, as far as into a grain bin, as far as, you know, a couple of different structures, you know, and just to build confidence. Remember that one of the great keys about this place is to build confidence. So as we come walking towards the grain bin, we have so many different farmers that are so resilient and so stoic. But what happens if you're in trouble and you need help? The people that are coming to help you, we also need to train them and make them stronger. That's another reason for having this, to have this training prop here. Last year, over 33 people died within 200-mile radius of Spencer in all grain bin related issues. Again, big help and big props to SMU for helping us with a couple of simulations. So let's go out here and we want to simulate what are they going to run into. All right. So if we look at this pole, we have two different meters that we can use. We have a meter that disconnects from the transformer. We have that style, as well as we have a style that is right to just a regular meter socket. If we come around back, Black Hills Energy, also just another great stoic partner in the idea of safety, just came out, and we went back here, just like on any grain site. There's the gas meter. So let's go ahead and ensure that we have lockout, tagout. In other words, lockout, tagout, let's stop the energy from happening and creating more of a problem. Whatever fire department comes to train, we always try and have like some kind of easy or even number where half of them can watch and half of them can be a part of it. So just imagine that you're going to climb up there and now we're going to make entry into a bin. Is that good enough? I have to haul equipment up there. I have to do this and that. Do I have a lockout, tagout kind of format? And yes, we do. We have developed that. You know, we want to take the guesswork out of it. The average volunteer, they're so good, but they're working everywhere. You know, they could be your local carpenter. They could be working for your park district. They could be working, you know, as an automobile mechanic. All of a sudden the call comes in and now all of a sudden they have to be a grain bin rescue expert. So what can we do to help ensure that they make some good decisions? So that's what this prop is here for a little bit as well. So you got that call. What do we do next? Can we cut a grain bin? Is there a right or a wrong way to cut a grain bin? We do have additional grain bin pieces and shields. We do have a stand. That's another thing that your firefighters are going to learn how to do if they don't know already. Is there a directional method of cutting into a grain bin that's important? Is there a way that products should be placed or not? These are all things to consider. These are all things that we want to go ahead and establish with that next rescue agency, so they have that idea in their head if the need arises. Structural firefighting. Here we are, a nice 612 pitch. This is going to be the greatest way to put a 612 pitch on is from the ground. I don't know about anybody else, but as a roofer, I wasn't made necessarily to be on a roof all the time. But if I needed to be on a roof, could I do it safely? This is what the opportunity is out here, is how do I do it safely? We're looking to sit there and say organizational leaders that are out there, how can they direct their men best? You know, we have so many guys that are bulls, we have so many guys that drive the bulls, and we got to have so many guys that lead the bulls. So here it is. You give an opportunity for each to excel in their area. This is a 612 pitch. We're going to sit there, we put different matter into this opening. How can they go ahead and cut it? How can they work a chainsaw? How can they work? You ever see an axe foul? You ever have an axe that had a spark plug that fouled? No, they just got to keep on swinging. So that makes a great deal difference when we do it here. Coming over to here, this is a 412 pitch. This is more realistic in our area. And again, this gives us a greater opportunity to work off of a couple of different ladders. We're going to have a ladder coming from the ground, as well as we'll have a ladder resting on the roof itself. And again, just to start making some good safety techniques, not just safety techniques, but just some good skills and some common sense. And again, that's what we're after. So after you, Karen.
All right.
So welcome to the Northwest Iowa Public Safety Training Center, the grain bin rescue prop. This grain bin rescue prop affords fire departments and rescue agencies and co-ops and anybody that's related to agriculture, if they want an opportunity to go ahead and practice. We have a bin within a bin, in the best sense of terms. As we come up, we can come up to a observatory deck or plateau, and we're going to come right in. The idea of giving good education and good opportunity. This is a grain bin that's going to be on anybody's farm, anybody's co-op. What kind of product are we going to deal with? How do we implement putting shields in place? Now, if we look up and we're going through that kind of doorway, Farm Service Bureau insurance, went ahead and has made a donation of a set of grain shields to operate within this structure, and that's what they're going to use. I think the biggest thing for people coming out here is just the drive to get here. We're going to make it as pleasant as possible to come out here and learn something. When we're inside this vessel, this is I call it a vessel, but it's a true grain bin. How does grain work? How many people can go like this? Thank God it wasn't me. I got lucky. We all could say that in any kind of support. When we're here, what are we looking for? We're looking at everything from atmospheric monitoring. We're looking at how do we stop this grain from engulfing somebody any further? How do we get a person out? Do we have to go into a vertical measure or a vertical way, or could we go ahead and go in a horizontal manner? These are opportunities, and the thought process is unto them, whatever the organization that's here today learning. There is no one way to fix a problem. If you're a farmer, you are the true original MacGyver. All right, duct tape and a pair of Craftsman screwdrivers, I could do almost anything with, right? So that's what we want to say. When we're talking a circle, we put shields in place, and a shield in place is going to do what? It's going to stop the collapse of more grain onto the victim. We're trying to sit there and take pressure off the chest cavity area, as well as, for sure, number one, airway, but the chest cavity area. So how do I get those deployed? How do they come in? Who is the rescuer? Never allowing a rescuer to become a victim. Now, all this is taking place, right? But now look at all this space. We got all this here. So I got 5 guys in here. I'm going to have 5 guys standing around. What do you think the 5 guys out here are doing? Besides they're taking notes. Are they taking notes? Are they checking their cell phone? No, they're being good firefighters. They're sitting there talking with one another, maybe throwing a joke. But now, this group is done, and now it's this group's turn. Everything that just happened inside here, these guys will not forget, and now it's their turn to try and do it better, and they will. And there's no greater gift than all I did was pull into this parking lot. I wanted to know something. I left this parking lot learning more than I did when I got here. That's the premise of the Northwest Iowa Public Safety Training Center. It really is. We just want to give the affordability and the opportunity for everybody to get a little bit better than they were. And that's really something. And everybody that's been a part of this, I can't thank enough. And into the future, what we're going to do next. But out in TV land, this is a little bit more of what's going on here. So when you see this, it's a whole lot more than just a couple of boxes. It's a whole lot more than just a grain bin. And, do me a favor and thank a volunteer fireman that's in your area. They're the ones I appreciate. They really do. It's just it's an honor to be a part of this community and to do this. Oh, we'll always take donations. There's no doubt about it. But I tell you what, I think I don't know how to react when somebody says, "Do I need a donation?" Yes, we do. Of course we do. That's how we operate. But your local fire departments need donations just as much. And together we're going to get further. Another shout out that I haven't said is the city council from Spencer, the county supervisors from Clay County. All of them saw this vision as a good thing. And to their organizations, I thank them just as much. So, like I said, can't wait for the open house. I can't wait for everybody to come on out, and we'll practice social distancing, but we're still going to come out sometime. And I want you to see it yourself. But realize that every one of these guys that answers the call in the middle of the night, the middle of the day, this is the area where they can become even better. Not just inside this grain bin, not just inside that fire training prop, but it's just the idea. Thank you for your visit.